I want to set my personal biases aside. It has been a while, but I have done a number of Vechain videos on this channel. Now, my educational background is in supply chain management and logistics, and my entire professional background has also been in supply chain management and logistics. I am not a financial advisor. If you're looking for one, you need to see this guy. But if you want the opinion of someone who's been in crypto quite a while and someone who has a good deal from a professional level about supply chains and logistics, specifically because Vechain, that is what they deal in, well, maybe today's content will make some sense. Today, we're going to focus on a recent video by content creator Lorenzo, Vechain, the worst investment of 2022. Prior to seeing this video, I hadn't seen any of his content in a while, but I do believe he always makes thoughtful content and high quality content. I actually appreciate differing opinions, and there's no doubt as far as I'm concerned, Alexander does know crypto, and he knows crypto well. Now that is my opinion. In today's video, I'm going to point out some different points of that video, some key points, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on where I agree and disagree with Alexander on his thoughts of Vechain being a bad investment, at least a bad investment in 2022. I'll also let you know my price prediction for Vechain for the remainder of 2022. If you enjoyed the content today, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notification. By the way, we are knocking on the door of 6,000 subscribers. So if you do like the content, go ahead and help me get there. Thank you. I'm going to put a link in the description to the original video, Lorenzo's video. Go check his channel out. Like I said, I think he does make good content. Go check this video out. I'll also, at the end of the video, put a link at the end screen so that you can go and check it out if you'd like to at that point. For those of you all not familiar with Vechain, it's all about supply chain, traceability, and tracking. So you know those Nikes and high-end goods that you love? It's all about actually making sure that the consumer and the business are getting what they're paying for so that they are authentic, and all about tracking it from where it's produced to the end consumer. Uniquely, this product is not only for the business and them being able to track their supply chain, but also there are certain apps that will allow the consumer to know about the source of the goods as well. So that is the gist of Vechain. So because of the fact that I'm speaking to specific parts about Lorenzo's video, I am going to paraphrase, but because of integrity, I want to make sure that I don't deviate too far from what he says, because I do think it's important if I'm going to reference someone that it is actually what they said or represents what they said. So that is what I'm going to attempt to do. So for the first thing, he stated that Vechain doesn't have much going on for it other than partnerships, and he is not a big fan of partnership marketing. Number two, the biggest reason that he hates Vechain with a passion is because of proof of authority. With proof of authority, they do have power over the selection of validators, and due to that reason, that goes against the very ethos. Now, he didn't use that word, but it goes against the very ethos, basically, of decentralization. So that is number two. The number three reason that I wanted to point out from his video was he stated that the user interface is trash and there's no TVL. Number four, Vechain does not have that many applications. Now, something else he pointed out, we'll say number five. Now, this is not a negative reason, but it is a fifth point he did point out in the video, is Ethereum virtual machine compatible. So he did point that out and pointed that out as a good thing. And number six, he pointed out how much Vechain is down since 2021. So I do believe that by anyone's estimates, it is pretty much down a considerable amount. Those are some of the key points, as I stated. That's why I really do want you to go check out the video, make the determination for yourself, but I did want to pull just some of those reasons. Now, I want to touch on those reasons and give you my thoughts about it and let you know where I agree or where I disagree about his assessment of Vechain. First of all, as far as the partnerships, he did reference partnership marketing. Now, we hear this all the time in terms of chain link. Think about this blockchain or that blockchain and how they say we are partnered with Chainlink. Now, when you think about that, that project could have simply said, we are going to use Chainlink as an Oracle solution for our blockchain. But no, they do not do that. And the reason why is there is a benefit to a powerhouse and that branding and marketing. And that is the reason that they do that. That, to me, is partnership marketing. But now when we talk about Vechain and the partnerships, and he did make the point saying that a strong partner for them was basically Walmart. So when we think about Vechain's partnerships, just to name a few, we do have Walmart China, Bayer China, we have PricewaterhouseCoopers, H&M, and BMW Group. There's quite a bit more. In the description of the video, I will put a list of Vechain partners that should be fairly up to date, and it is a rather lengthy list, which lets you know there are a lot of partnerships associated with Vechain. The reason I actually really like Vechain's partnerships is because they're real world partners tied to a real world use case. They're actually using this for their supply chain. And one thing that I do know about supply chain is having traceability is something that is vital at this point to supply chain and logistics. And quite frankly, there never has been an adequate way to solve this problem. You can literally look it up anywhere, the amount of dollars going down the drain from counterfeits, piracy of goods. The evidence is very easy to see that there is a need for this use case. And furthermore, who else is competing in this niche? Now, many of these partnerships, such as Walmart China, Bayer China, are in the Far East. It is likely the US that is having to okay those decisions on those partnerships simply because those corporations are originally based in the US. While it may be Walmart China that's teamed up with Vechain, Bentonville, Arkansas, the headquarters for Walmart, is making those final decisions. If these partnerships are successful, I would expect those partnerships to then make their way over to the West, and that is where adoption happens. Even if it didn't come over to the US, there's still massive amounts of growth that can happen, even in the areas that Vechain is already in. When it comes to the part about proof of authority and not being decentralized, I personally don't think that those companies that have partnered with Vechain really care about decentralization. And bigger picture, I actually don't think the majority of the world at this point cares about decentralization simply because they've been so accustomed to centralization. In the crypto world, yes, we all care about decentralization for the most part, but I still think on a broader scale, that's just not the case. So I don't think that has an overall effect for Vechain and their use case. For other blockchains, I definitely think it matters because that's the foundation of their whole blockchain. When it comes to the user interface, it could be better. There's no doubt about that. So I do agree with them on that. When it comes to the TVL, last time I checked, it was 18.6 million. That's really not a lot. So I do think to those points, Alexander Lorenzo is correct. To the point about not having many applications, that's also correct. If you were to compare Vechain to basically any top layer one out there, we'll say, there's really no comparison in the amount of apps. So I give him that as well. So I do think he was factually speaking when it comes to that. While Alexander did point out the fact that Vechain being EVM compatible is a positive, I think it's safe to say that overall, he doesn't feel it stacks up to competitors such as Ethereum and Solana when it comes to consensus, NFTs, TVL, DeFi, pretty much all the above. I'm maintaining that none of those things matter. And the reason why none of those things matter, in my opinion, is that is not the core offering of Vechain. The core offering of Vechain is supply chain tracking and traceability. So who in the industry matches up with them? Let's consider a pizza place with really good pizza that offers you flavored crust for free. You get to select your flavored crust. At the end of the day, with an awesome pizza, the pizza is amazing whether you get to select the flavored crust or not. Shout out to Hungry Howie's, but I think you get my point. When it comes to Vechain, all these other offerings, they're offering that, but their core value is supply chain tracking and traceability. So I do believe they have room to improve, but I just believe with Vechain, we got to think about what their core offering is. And I want you to name me any project in crypto that is remotely close to them. There's not one. Vechain essentially at this point, to their scale, has no competitor in their core offering, which gives them competitive advantage. Throw all that aside, I believe if Bitcoin reaches $100,000 during the remainder of 2022 and this bull run, I believe Vechain will still see between 80 cents and $1.05. Strictly talking return on investment from this point to the point that Bitcoin hits $100,000. Which one do you think has more upside? Is it Ethereum or is it Vechain for the remainder of this cycle? I believe it's Vechain. Not to say that I think it's a better project than Ethereum, because that is not what I think. Matter of fact, I do hold both of these. As far as an investment and strictly a return on investment, for this bull run, I think that the upside from this point on is Vechain. I like the product that they offer in terms of their core offering, and I think Vechain has major upside still. Shout out to Alexander Lorenzo and his channel. Like I said, great content. Go check him out. I definitely think he had some good thoughts on it because frankly, I think some of the things he said do make sense. But I think in the scope of it, we have to focus more on what Vechain actually does as their core offering. That is the most important part in my eyes. Let me know in the comments, do you think Vechain is a good or a bad investment in 2022? Do you think it's going to reach $1 this year? Or do you think it's over for this bull run? If you like the content, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment. It's great for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe, hit the bell for notification. And the best thing you can do to help my channel out is to share it with a friend. If you do nothing else, retire with dignity. Take control and retire with dignity.